What is up, YouTube? Today we're back with another Guild War banger. I hope you guys had a good weekend. And we got an interesting war today against Paladia, as they're currently ranked number 3 and pushing for Hall of Fame. And I do want to apologize for this video. It's going to be all voiceover because my mic inputs were changed when I was fixing my computer. And I added some thermal paste, added a new fan, things like that. So I really apologize that this video, when you look at my face and the audio, it's going to be like, you know, he's talking but not talking. So it will be corrected for future videos. I'm really sorry about this, guys, but hopefully because we'll still enjoy. I try my best to do voiceover as accurate as possible, and without further ado, let's just hop right into it. All right, so for round number 1, the first team we're attacking is Fribbels, and it's going to be Conquer Lilius, Rimuru, and Landy. And I'm going to be running Terranor Royal Guard on the round 1 because Crow is forced on both rounds. As you can see, Celine and Senya on bottom, and then there's just 4 Earth units in total. So Terranor Royal Guard is going to be up top since Crow's not free. We have him on as just as much HP as possible with Adamant Shield under 1.1k defense. And we're also going to have Roanna since there's going to be some dual attacks and the Analyze Assess coming from the Rimuru. So it's very important to make sure that the Roanna does have immunity, because you do want to make sure you can trigger the Analyze and Assess so that your Lionheart gets proc right away. Now she's on standard build with Celestine. And obviously when we S1 the Rimuru, he's going to proc S2. That's going to proc our Lionheart S2 and give us a little bit of CR push. And we made sure that the Lionheart is tuned after the Roanna. That way the Lionheart can basically just S3, S1 and kill them off ASAP, especially with some of the reflect damage that's going to be coming through with the Terranor Royal Guard. And now for that attack, it is going to be very important that we make sure we don't mess up, because if it is a counter Landy, we don't want to make sure we don't want to S1 with Roanna onto the Landy, which could trigger like the Bloodstone and S3 and whatever. If it's on Guiding Light, it's going to reduce the damage and all these other things. Now for the second team, it's going to be Ran, Celine, and Senya. And like I mentioned in the beginning, we don't have Terranor Royal Guard, so we're going to be, we have to have Crow on both rounds. So we have Terranor Royal Guard up top and Crow on the bottom. The reason why Crow is a premier pick is because Ran and Celine and Senya are all going to be going into the Crow. So if it is on RNL, it's going to go into the Crow and it won't attack the other Earth units. And yeah, I don't know why it disconnected there. But we're also going to have Destina as well, and she's going to be here to just provide some stability. And the Guardian Ice Crystal is going to heal the Crown so he's a little bit more longevity and get a little bit more value out of him. And Zahhak is going to be on a bit more of a tankier build on immunity in case Senya does move first. We want to make sure that Zahhak is on a tankier build just in case it is on, say, like Symbol of Unity for the Ran. It doesn't just one-shot us, right? And we don't need a whole lot of damage because we're killing units like Ran and Celine. They're maybe around like 9k, 10k, 11k HP max if they're on full DPS. And the reason we also want to have Zahhak is because if the Ran and Celine are on dodge artifacts, we want to make sure we can hit with S3 and Symbol with, no doubt in our mind. And not only that, we have a 100 crit chance on Zahhak because we need to have a 100 crit chance to hit the Senya. If you don't have a 100% crit on the Senya, you're basically just gambling 50-50, and it's just not a very good look. But basically, even if the Zahhak doesn't kill, we have Crow S3 that can dump. We basically play 2v3. Senya can then revive once the Celine is dead, so the Secret Art doesn't kill us. And we basically just kill off the Ran, leave Senya last, and we just 1v3 her, and it should be pretty easy. But honestly, this took very long for us to kind of figure out because I thought of doing Zeo, but hopefully this will work. So let's hop over into the fight. Alright, so we can see that the Conquer Lilius is 17.2k HP on Nostalgic Music Box. And it looks like the S2 Bear is going to go to the highest HP being Rimuru. Landy's going to S3 at 12k HP, not on Guiding Light, so most likely on Bloodstone. The Rimuru is 13.9k HP on Portrait of the Savior, so it's a full damage build, and my Terranor Royal Guard is going to be dead here. And we can confirm that the Bloodstone is there, in fact. Now, we're going to want to S1, because we don't want to S3. Even though my Lionheart's going to take a turn, I figure I might as well just S1 so we can trigger the Analyze and Assess. And yeah, we just S1 here, get the Rimuru to counter, because we do have speed buff on the Landy, right? So we want to make sure that we are able to take the turn. And the dual attack is nice, obviously. And now we're going to be able to S3 with the Lionheart here. And the Lionheart is going to be able to S3. It for sure kills the Rimuru, and then we're going to tap into the Landy, and we're going to see if we're able to kill. Most likely we are. I mean, even through Vigor. Perfect, now she's dead. Now we're pretty much stabilized. Obviously, as you guys know, Crow was needed in round 2, so this was a worthy sacrifice of Terran or Royal Guard, so he doesn't really get to flourish, obviously, because the reflect damage from the Rimuru does not get reflected back. And when I mean the reflect damage, I mean the fixed damage of 10,000, right? So it doesn't get thrown back over. But nonetheless, we're just going to slowly whittle down this Lionheart, the Conquered Lilias, because they're not having any continuous healing buffs. And just one more turn, we have S3 on the Lionheart here, so we're just going to S3, and I believe Soulburn S1, she should be dead. And yep, now we just S1 Soulburn, and bam, she's dead. Perfect. Now moving into round number 2. And looks like we have Secret Art Storm Sword on the Celine, and it's a slow ran, which means that this is not going to be an evasion Celine, which means she's probably not too tanky. It should be either full DPS or it's going to be on kind of a hybrid build. And obviously I'm not going to be able to S2 with Zahak, because if I S2, the Celine's going to kill me. And maybe if it's even like a stealth EE, it could be really bad as well. So I'm just going to rip the S3 into the Zahak here. And it's really important that we ran the bulk Zahak, because if we didn't, we could be in a little bit of trouble here. Because you could lose to things like, you know, Symbol Ran or Senya first into Ran second, many different variations. But the key thing about this comp is that the Crow is going to be able to tank all the damage coming in from the right side, and Zahak's going to have invincibility no matter what happens. And it looks like Celine is still alive. So the Ran's going to be able to go here, 9.7k HP, not on Silver Rain. Most likely on RNL if we don't see any procs here. No Alabastron, nothing. So most likely it's going to be RNL. And the Destina here, obviously we could press S2, but I think I'm just going to S1 here. Now Celine's going to S3 into the Crow, which means she is going to revive. We couldn't press the skills on Destina because if we S2, you know, yes, the Zahak is going to be able to kind of come back down, but we might get Provoke Lock by the Senya anyway, and also we don't want to give the attack buff to the Celine for her to heal even more. Now, obviously, we're 9k HP down on Crow, so if we S3 onto the Celine, we might not kill, which is a complete waste of the S3. So I'm thinking we probably just S2 on the Ran instead. That way we can at least remove the skill nullifier. There's no point hitting the Senya because we could potentially get Provoke Lock if we just S2 into her for no reason. Obviously, she still could when she hits us on her own turn, but we don't want to give her the Provoke early on if we don't have to. Now we're just going to go for an S2 on the Ran. It seems to be the most logical play here, I believe. Now we are blinded by the Zahak, which means we're not going to hit on the Senya, and she's going to provoke us. Now we're basically Provoke Lock on the Zahak, which is not a big deal because, again, we have Crow and Holy Sack. It hasn't procced yet. All the damage is going to come through on the Crow, so we're really not worried. We still can't press any non-attack skills, so the Celine is going to go off, so we have to just chill. And the Senya is just S1, Spear of a New Dawn, Gabby E, S1 on Celine. And then we're going to get Provoke Locked again. We're not dead yet. We might be able to tank one more turn. So now I have to make a decision on whether I want to gamble 10k damage into the Celine or not. And I could S3 the Ran as well, but we know that it's 9.7k HP. And we might not kill through barrier, right?
Radiant light.
So again, we're going to have to just S1 the Ran. It feels really bad, but you know, we really have no choice. We have to S1 the Ran because we can't press any abilities at all. Otherwise, we're probably just going to lose right away. So no Provoke Lock. I guess the ER on the Zahak or the Crow is enough. Are we dead? Nope. Guardian Ice Crystal saving us. And now Ran is going to be able to S2, S3. Now we're not worried about it, even if it procs RNL, because obviously we still have Holy Sacrifice, so we're chilling. Zahak is dead for sure. Does he crit? And no... Okay, so now we still can't S2 or S3. So we have to S1. We're going to remove the skill nullifier off the Ran so that my Crow is going to be able to dump the S3 onto the Celine. Once we dump the S3 onto the Celine, we can then press the skills on Destina and bring the Zahak back. And then we're basically Bing chilling. Pretty much. So Celine's going to be dead here. Everything goes into the Crow. We're chilling. Now, we're not dead yet. Now, full DPS Ran for sure would have killed us there. Now, we have Destina to bring back the Zahak. We S2, just go on the Ran, basically push him back, do what we can. Now, we're going to S2. And you might be thinking, you know, why don't we just go onto the Ran? But, you know, we're not too worried about the Ran. So we're just going to go on this Senya here. Okay, we're definitely not going to kill. We don't have enough damage because we're on a bulk build. But the injury's nice. In hindsight, I think maybe us during the round would have been okay as well. But either way, because we're able to cut down here, it's not a big problem. So we just Soulburn S1 into the Senya, and we're chilling. And it's just basically 1v1 now. He does prog an RNL, so that's good because we were able to confirm it is RNL for whoever's going to be following up on this tower. And Fribbels actually usually is in Stronghold, and they usually don't have any traps, so it's always nice to see that when they get rotated out to Stronghold and see what type of traps that they get set up. And perfect, yeah, this fight is over with, and nice and clean, moving over into the second battle of today then, I guess. Alrighty, so for our second attack of today, we are going to be attacking ExeFalse, and I previously was guildmates with him, and so obviously, like, you know, I have a history with him, so ExeFalse, I know you watched this, so I hope you're doing good. And as always, yeah, let's just get right into it. So we're attacking Zeo, Strays, and ML Roanna. So we're going to be having Crow as our first unit on Holy Sacrifice, and he wants to be the fastest unit so that the Zeo can target him. Now, we're going to have Politics as well, and the main purpose for her is for two things. Number one is so that she holds Tagahal Ancient Book so we can burn Pavel. And number two, we want to cut the Roanna passive so that she cannot zoom to the front after the Zeo moves. If you see ML Roanna, Politics basically just completely cucks her, whether it's in Arena, RTA, no matter what, right? Now, looking at the Pavel, I do have him on a 288 speed build, and we are going to be running on Guiding Light. The reason for that is so that the Zeo is not going to be able to target the Pavel, and it only goes straight into the Crow because the Crow is much faster than the Politis. And yes, I know he's not Mola. I'm free to play, so it is what it is. But anyways, for the second team, we are looking at Amid, Ilanav, and Tempesturin. Obviously, Tempesturin recently just got buffed with a new EE. If you're wondering, the S3 EE is going to be the best in slot for her if you have her on defense, okay? Now, we are going to be running Troublemaker Crozet on the build you guys have seen before, on Adamant Shield, because my Holy Sacrifice is taken by the Crow in this battle. For the second unit, we're going to be opting for Destina on Guardian Ice Crystals, CR Push EE, and just, you know, standard build, bulk, ER, a little bit of everything. And then we have Arya on Fairy Tail because obviously Tempesturin has the passive where it's, you know, she can't take more than 50% damage at one time. So the Fairy Tail really negates that. If she hits 5 focus, that's like 3,000 fixed damage. She's pretty much dead. And she's really, really good into Ilanav as well. So it should be pretty clean. So let's find out real quick. Alright, so the Zeo does move first at 12.2k HP. And we did see that the Strays is on Benny Marutachi. Now it's going to go into the crowd. Perfect. We didn't get pushed back or silenced. Great. We take the CR bar. Pavel's going to Soulburn S2, S3 into the maybe Roanna or Strays. Okay, so the Strays didn't die, so we're just going to S3 into the Strays. Obviously, if we had the +5 Mola on S2, the Strays was most likely dead. But it is what it is, right? Now, obviously, we don't want to get skill reset by the ML Roanna, so we're just going to kill the Strays first. And because the ML Roanna is so slow at base speed, she's not going to cut in front of the Poly or the Crow, as you will see on the left. Now, there we go. Now, the Crow, we can either S2, but I'm thinking we probably just S3 because we do have enough damage to kill her off. Otherwise, she'll have like 1 HP and Poly can finish her off, but it should be enough if I'm not mistaken. And boom. Yeah, perfect. Now she's dead, and now Poly can just go into the Zeo and just throw the debuffs, and we just basically play 1v3, and it's pretty much over. I don't think ML Rana really is that great on defense, to be completely honest, because Politis just completely destroys her kit, like completely. So it's just really hard to find a way, unless you force Politis on the second round as well, maybe, then you have a chance. But and I think that's what he tried to do with the Amid defense, but maybe, yeah, I don't know. This one is a little bit different. Maybe he's dead here. Nope, not quite. So one more turn. And we just finish him off with the Pavel S1. And moving over into the second round of today. So pretty clean. Let's see how this goes. So the aim is going to move first. 12.2k HP. Doesn't look like it's Fan of Light and Dark, but we'll find out real quick here. No, it's not Fan of Light and Dark, and it's MLDB Tempesturin, which means that this was a cleave trap. And so now we got debuffs landed on the Troublemaker Crozet. We should probably cleanse here, but we take the CR bar and we give the Destina speed since she didn't get pushed. And I could push Destina and then push the Arya, but then the Ilanav S3 might actually reveal some of my units. So I'm probably just gonna want to S1 maybe. But if I S1 onto the Ilanav, I'm gonna be able to use Destina to push him back down since the Ilanav does take a turn right after the Troublemaker Crozet. And I think that's what I'm going to do here instead of S3. So we go for S1 onto the Illinev to remove the skill null, obviously. And we landed a stun, which is great. And then we have Destina pushing the T-Crozet down so that the Unbuffable falls off. That way the Arya S3 is going to trigger, and it's going to allow the... Oh, I actually didn't catch... Oh, it was the new Luluka artifact for the A-mid. So it was definitely a cleave trap. So perfect, that's good. And then we're just going to S1, and whoa, we landed another stun. And everything's just going to start hitting the Arya, and they're just going to die. And T-Surin, we S2 or S1, S3. I think the T-Surin should be dead here. And it looks like she's dead. Boom. Okay, now it's Holy Sacrifice. We did see that the A-mid is on the Luluka artifact. I have no idea what the name of it is, but this fight is pretty much over. Arya just needs to take a turn here. And it is counter set, so we definitely do want to make sure that we include that in the notes. And Arya is going to S1 to finish off the job, and that's basically it for the second fight. So GG, ExeFalse, and over into the third battle of today. Now for the last battle of today, it's going to be an interesting one. Luciferin was actually one of the people that played in Fidelis 2 months ago, and I actually lost to this person against the Falcon or Clary defense, and it was very embarrassing, but and you guys saw it if you guys watched that video, and I'll put a screenshot on screen now of me and someone else in Talentless losing. But we're here to seek revenge, so we're going to be attacking him, and it's LQC, Aiden, LRK first team, so we're going to be going A-mid, Briarwitch, and Stene. So we have A-mid at 286 speed on her own artifacts. Brysiri is going to be on Symbol because Aiden does have the 50% in the kit and also maybe 20% from an artifact. So we do need to make sure we have Symbol to guarantee hit on the Aiden. Obviously, we have quite a bit of damage. And then we have our Stene on Book so that our Briarwitch is able to Soul Burn. And after she Soul Burns with the Unbuffable, LRK basically is cancelled out. If we Death Break, that's great. And then we just dump an S3 with the Stene and we just completely kill. And I'm assuming the Aiden should die on turn 1 since it's not Arrowwell given the barrier, so we should be fine. Looking over into the second battle of today, we do see that it's going to be Spirit Eye, Celine, Solitaria, and Arrowwell. So we're going to be opting to go for a Dark Bait, so we will have Pillis down here with Protection Set and Proof of Valor, because he's going to be soaking in all the damage from the Celine in case it's Dust Devil. Rohan's going to be on a standard build, obviously Immunity, Celestine in case we need the first turn, but it's probably not needed. And then the last unit we're going to be having is Ed. So anytime you see Solitaria, just literally take Ed. Like, Ed is just the perfect Solitaria counter. So we have Sigurd, we have Speed Set, everything's good in the world. Basically, anytime she dumps any debuffs, we just chuck it back, and the Celine eventually will lose the buff, and we'll be able to just S2, S1 and just kill with the Ed. But overall, I think this should be a pretty straightforward fight. And here we go. Let's get vengeance for our brothers and myself. Let's go. Alright, so Shepherd of Chaos, Aureus, LRK, and there is Hellcutter. Thank goodness I'm, in this, in the top right, you can see I'm like, oh, what if it actually was 300 Aiden, then I would have got cucked. But in reality, actually probably would be fine since we could just strip and then kill with the Stene. But anyway, we're just going to double push with the A-mid and push the Brysiri up. As you can see, we're going to Soul Burn S3 so we can put the Unbuffable down and the Death Break. Now, one thing to keep in mind is if you do S3 Soul Burn on Brysiri, it's not guaranteed. Okay, the Death Break is 85% chance. So some people that message me, oh, like how come the Death Break didn't stick? You gotta read the abilities, okay? Now, looking at the CR, as you can see on the left-hand side, it looks like the LRK is going to take the next turn before my Brysiri. So I do want to preserve that skill null, so we're just going to kill the LRK here. And potentially we might even push these two units back because they're most likely not going to have any ER whatsoever. And the LQC actually resisted, but we're just going to tap the Aiden, and the Aiden's dead. Now, LQC is going to take a turn. I don't believe she's going to have enough damage to one-shot us, even with Splash, and we have skill nulls, so we're fine. Boom. Perfect. Now we just run it into the LQC, and it should be fine.
Pay attention, or you might regret it. You challenge me? Fine.
And then we just S1, so she takes one more turn. Doesn't even proc the Immortality on the Brysiri, which is surprising. Then Aim's just going to double push. We're just going to tap her with the Brysiri, and this battle is over with. Now we're going to move into the second round.
Is it my turn?
Well, bam. Perfect. Now looking into the second round. Should be pretty free just because Solitaria is kind of weird because she's not very good on defense. Now, one thing to note is Solitaria will always go for the fastest unit on the enemy team. So if you do have Ed, it's kind of perfect. It's a match made in heaven, right? Now Celine's gonna go. She's gonna S3. She has 8.9k HP. Now for our Ed here, we're just gonna rip the damage into the arrow well because we obviously don't want to damage the Celine. She's gonna hit us back and heal. So we're just gonna rip the S3 onto the arrow well here. Alright, perfect. And Roanna, we don't really need to S3 because we already have a barrier still on the Pillis. And we don't need an S3 here either because we still have the protections at barrier. And she might just straight up strip it here, right? This arrow well gets effectiveness buff. And she's probably gonna strip, most likely. And yes, so it does stun. Solitaire is gonna go, and assuming it lands debuffs on the Ed, we can throw the debuffs back. Never mind, we just have Giga ER on the Ed, I guess. And 4 hits, we are gonna get a defense buff from the Pillis. Perfect. Just gonna put the barrier up here just so that we have a little bit more of a cushion to reduce some of the injury stacking early on. Now Ed's just gonna continuously bash their head into the arrow well because we don't want to hit the Celine, and obviously we can't touch the Solitaria. And surely she lands a debuff on us here and we throw something back. Perfect. Did we strip the barrier and provoke the Celine? No, we do not. But we provoke the Solitaria, which is quite surprising. Usually oh, there's Dust Devil proc. Most of the time Solitarias are going to have built-in ER with effectiveness, but I guess this one's just full effectiveness. So S1, it is counter, so whenever we're taking notes, we want to make sure that we do include that there is counter on the enemy team. And it did strip the barrier, which is kind of annoying, but it's okay. Surely the Solitary actually lands debuffs. Never mind. So we're just going to S3 here on the Pillis, just so that we can we can remove the debuffs and we can get a little bit of a barrier, a little bit of a cushion. We're going to Soul Burn S3 into the arrow well so we can get the 50% CR push, and Celine's going to be losing her buff momentarily. Another counter just means free CR for us. And will she proc another Dust Devil? Yes, she will. And with the defense buff coming in on the Pillis, Roanna's going to be able to S1 since she no longer has the buff up. And I'm just going to S1 into the Celine. Surely Solitaria lands a debuff on us. Never mind. Do 100 ER. Do we get another chance? Finally, we get the debuffs that we were looking for. Now, we're not going to be able to finish the Celine, but she doesn't have S3 available, so it's fine. So we're just going to kill the Celine here. It does ignore the damage sharing effect, so the escort is not going to be applied in this instance, as you can see. Now we just S1 into the arrow well. It should be dead, but if we get any debuffs, which we do, that arrow well is for sure dead now. And pretty easy defense, but hey, I'm not going to talk shit. Alright, Luciferin, to be fair, he or she is up 1-0 on us, so all time, definitely my kryptonite. But yeah, nice and clean overall, I think. And yeah, let's move over into our closing thoughts of today. Let's go ahead. Alrighty, so that's going to do for today's Guild War video. Hopefully you guys did enjoy, and once again, I'm very sorry guys that the audio got messed up. I'm really sorry. I'm always going to check my mic settings anytime now, every time before I record, so I don't hinder your guys' viewing experience. If you do watch this video, I will be streaming tomorrow on Tuesday at twitch.tv/vikchun. We're going to be doing a bunch of crafting. And, also let me know in the comments if you guys do want to make me, see me do a YouTube video on actually crafting all of the materials from the side story. I'm actually very eager to craft them, but I'm kind of holding off, and I want to know if you guys want to see this mega craft session on YouTube. But let me know in the comments below on what you guys want. So hopefully you guys will be there on stream tomorrow, and I'll see you there. But if not, it's all good. So as always, please drop a like and comment below for the algorithm, as it really helps me. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you next time, or tomorrow, hopefully. Okay, bye!